Let's come back to West Africa, where the Ghanaian government last week inked a deal with some of its international creditors, which opens the way for the resource-based West African economy to access further funding facility from the International Monetary Fund and other multilateral organizations. Over the weekend, the Ghana's Ministry of Finance, the Central Bank, and the IMF office in Accra held a press briefing to further clarify the debt deal and the IMF review. Let's listen.
We have some excellent news to discuss with the completion by our executive board this morning of the first review under Ghana's 3-year, $3 billion program. This allows for an immediate disbursement of about $600 million, bringing the total disbursements since the program was approved in May last year to close to $1.2 billion. In 2022, on the back of unfavorable global conditions, Ghana faced a severe economic and financial crisis with an unsustainable debt burden. In response to these difficult circumstances, the Ghanaian authorities have been implementing a comprehensive reform program aimed at restoring macroeconomic stability and debt sustainability and laying the foundations for stronger and more inclusive growth. Let me mention some of the reforms. To bring public finances back to a sustainable track, the government accelerated fiscal adjustment in 2023 and recently enacted a 2024 budget and revenue reforms that will further advance adjustment in the fiscal position. Budget sustainability is being achieved by mobilizing domestic revenue and by improving the efficiency of public spending. Importantly, the program includes and will continue to include efforts to protect the vulnerable. For example, the 2024 budget has continued to increase benefits under the existing targeted cash transfer program, the Living Empowerment Against Poverty program, the LEAP, and it also boosted allocations toward the school feeding program. To support adjustments and enhance the resilience to shocks, ambitious structural reforms are being implemented in the areas of tax policy, revenue administration, public financial management, as well as to address weaknesses in the energy and the cocoa sectors. To restore public debt sustainability, the government has also made significant progress on its comprehensive debt restructuring. The domestic debt exchange was completed over the summer, and an agreement in principle was recently struck between the government and its official bilateral creditors. The government has continued to engage its private external creditors, and we look forward to seeing progress on this front in the weeks ahead. To control inflation, the Bank of Ghana has taken decisive steps, and these efforts are already paying off. Inflation was almost halved as it declined from 54% in December 2022 to close to 23% last month. Measures to preserve financial stability are also very central to the program. The Bank of Ghana and the government are taking steps to ensure banks rebuild their capital buffers. And last but not least, reforms are being implemented to encourage private investment, growth, and job creation. These are all essential ingredients to address current challenges and boost Ghana's prospects going forward. Ghana's performance under the program has been compelling, both in terms of meeting the quantitative objectives, for example, on budgetary performance, but also in implementing transformational reforms to make the economy more resilient. Importantly, despite the difficult global economic setting, the authorities' reforms are bearing fruit and signs of stabilization are emerging. Growth has proven more resilient than initially envisaged, and indeed we are revising our growth projection for 2023 from 1.5 to 2.3%. Inflation is declining rapidly. The fiscal and external positions have improved. Bank of Ghana's international reserves have been increasing, and exchange rate volatility has decreased. Notwithstanding the progress made in recent months, the road to full stabilization and recovery will be gradual. Addressing remaining challenges will require determination and steadfast policy reform and reform implementation. But today's news marks an important milestone in the road to recovery and towards building a flourishing economy that will benefit every Ghanaian.
During our last interaction, I had stressed on steadfast commitment from all sides and stated that the Bank of Ghana will work on delivering its mandate on price and financial stability. The recent trends in inflation that the economy has witnessed in the course of 2023 suggest that we are on course. A year ago, at this time, inflation was around 54%. Through strong and innovative policies, tight monetary conditions, and relative exchange rate stability, inflation has been more than halved by the end of 2023 and is currently reported at 23%. Several factors have supported the disinflation process, and these include the monetary policy stance throughout the year, stable crude oil prices, which led to stable fuel prices, with favorable impact on transportation costs, a relatively stable exchange rate environment, stronger foreign exchange reserve accumulation due to the Gold for Reserve program, and favorable climatic conditions on the food supply chain process. Looking ahead to 2024, our expectation is for inflation to ease further, underpinned by continued implementation of sound policies till inflation expectations are firmly anchored towards our single-digit objective. In this regard, the Bank of Ghana will continue to monitor both domestic and external developments and respond appropriately to ensure that the downward inflation trajectory observed in recent months is sustained without undermining growth. The 2023 experience of a strong reduction in inflation and stronger growth is instructive. The banking sector remains sound, liquid, and profitable. The Bank of Ghana will continue to closely monitor banks' capital restoration efforts in line with approved plans, including through support from the Ghana Financial Stability Fund, following the impact of the domestic debt exchange program. We expect early recapitalization to promote banking sector resilience and effective financial intermediation to help speed up macroeconomic recovery going forward. With a successful conclusion of the first review today, we need to begin to think of the second review of the program and beyond. While tentative indications point to sound implementation of policies through to December 2023, vigilance and commitment will be needed in 2024 to undertake all the structural reforms, and would want to stress the importance of executing the needed structural reforms to support a better functioning of the economy. These reforms will be key in ensuring long-term sustainability of performance. Let me thank all stakeholders who have worked with us collaboratively to get to this point.
The purpose of tonight's press conference is really to update our fellow Ghanaians on the implementation of Ghana's IMF-supported post-COVID-19 program for economic growth, PCPEG, particularly the first review, and to provide a quick update on the economy and the outlook for the rest of 2024. But I think we've heard clearly from the governor on this. In that regard, it is with great honor that I can announce to you that earlier today, the International Monetary Fund endorsed the first review of our program. This is a resounding affirmation that the program is advancing steadily and our reform trajectory remains steadfast. Consequently, the endorsement has unlocked a $600 million disbursement from the IMF and will pave the way for an additional $300 million disbursement from the World Bank under the Development Policy Operation Financing. The World Bank will meet on Tuesday, January 23rd. In addition, we expect the World Bank to approve $250 million to support the Ghana Financial Stability Fund. These resources, in total $1.15 billion, will significantly bolster our economic recovery efforts. We are grateful to His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, for his unwavering leadership. We also thank the Cabinet for their moral support and the EMT led by our Vice President, Dr. Baumia, for their technical support and direction during this process. I also want to thank the Managing Director of the IMF, the senior management for the many interventions, and the IMF board for their belief in Ghana and for the support towards ensuring that we reach a deal with the official creditor committee of the Paris Club. To Stefan and the team, we say a big thank you. And to the MOS team, the midwives of our economy, AICO, for all the work that you do. The IMF board's approval was facilitated by the debt restructuring agreement we arrived at with official creditors on Friday, 12 January, under the G20 Common Framework for Debt Treatment. And here, we would like to truly thank France and China for their leadership. Our official creditors concurred on an ambitious rescheduling of all debt service due during the program period and a substantial maturity extension. This agreement grants us a considerable cash flow relief during the program period. Ghana will not be making payments on debt service or official bilateral creditors until the end of 2026. In light of this, I extend our deepest appreciation to official creditor committee and their secretariat for their constructive efforts